All right. Back at our agriculture business management course, I wanted to touch base on the last little bits of assignments here that started in week 8 and continued through this week. We'll go take a look at that, and then a couple things in Ag Plan, and a couple other resources, and we'll move along quickly for you. So let's see here. We go there and go grab this. So in our week 8 assignment, which I continued through this week and will continue through next, I kind of went through and pointed out a few things that I'd like you to be focusing on. The quality of life things that we've been working on, we still want to finish those up. That's all in the executive summary section of Ag Plan, your mission statement, goals, that kind of thing. You can also go ahead and finish out and do the plan summary. And if you're ready to use this plan or plan to use this business plan as a financing tool, then maybe you can even think about your capital requests as well. Otherwise, one thing to take a look at is, and I'll show you this in Ag Plan in a minute, is that if these sections aren't of use to you right now and they're causing a problem, you can turn them off, and they do that in the settings section. We'll go over that in just a second. So you can turn them back on when you need them, but if you're not going to do a capital request right now, and having all these extra sections is creating stress for you and making you and getting in the way of completing the things that we need to be working on for class, by all means, turn them off, and when you need them, you can go back and get them. The other thing to keep in mind is, this is a lifelong process. If you're going to be in farming, at least I think it is, you should come back to this every few years and make sure everything is still going. Probably every 5 years, I think I've said that before, is what I would suggest that you do. So use that as kind of a thought process too. Don't get bogged down in trying to be perfect. We want to just get through here and get you working on how you work through these sections so that you'll feel comfortable doing them outside of class when we're no longer together. And then in point 2, you can move into the business description section. Every one of you should be able to do this from either your own farm or what you think you might have in the future, in the case of the few people that are not actually in an ownership or working on a farm at all. Again, even if you think you're on a farm right now, but you don't think that's going to be your long term, go ahead and use that as the farm to work from for now. And then as you go forward, you come back in a few years as your life situation, as your farm situation change. You can always use this Keep Ag Plan will be yours forever, so you can take that with you and make those changes in the future. Just work through the process so you get a feel for how to do it and feel comfortable doing that. The business overview, location, facilities, business history, ownership structure, everybody should be able to fill that in pretty quickly. It doesn't have to be a long book. You can write a couple sentences about each. Going into the operations section, again, you should be able, for most, everybody should be able to go ahead and do that. Products, services, there's a couple of you mentioned doing custom work for others. That would be the services. If you're doing other kinds of services as well, somebody mentioned wanting to do a bed and breakfast or agritourism kind of thing, that would be an example of that. If you're not, maybe that's one to turn off and just have out of the way. Production system, of course, and implementation timeline would be things you could go within here. Your marketing strategy you can start working on too. If you've been studying the trends, you can put some stuff in here, but definitely you can talk about your marketing strategy and contracts if you have any, and go down there. If you know your management team, if you know what that is, and the organization structure, that ownership structure of the farm, that will be another thing to complete for this week's stuff. And we'll want to try to finish that up by the end of next week on some of those. Some of those really easy ones, when I'm working on something and I find myself getting stuck, one of the things that I'll do is try to knock off something easy. Go ahead and write out the business description, your farm description, your farm history, those kind of things that you could probably say in your sleep, and you should be able to do that relatively quickly. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll just open one of these. So like I said, you can turn on and off the sections if you want to, and that is a good thing to do. If you just click on the settings button like I just did, and then the sections tabs in there, you can choose and unclick any of the ones that you don't want, although this executive summary one, of course, is mostly all things that we want for class, so that wouldn't be one to turn off. But you can turn those off and set them aside for now and come back later when you're ready to do them. If you feel like you want to start over or change the fonts, you can do that. If you didn't like the name, you can do that. You can copy it and start over with another one if you care to. Those are all opportunities there. Let's see when we get into plan here. One of the things that somebody had asked about is how do you print this out and how do you see what the plan looks like? So you can do that at any time by clicking on the plan or print button here. And then you can look at the options for that. Again, you can turn off different sections or turn on sections that you want to print and how you want those to go. So a new page for each section if that's the way you want to do it, or let it flow through. The default setting, as you can see here, starts in each section will be a new page, and then it'll wrap through each component of that. So that's something you can do. And then if you click on the View Print Plan, you can go ahead and save it as a Word or a PDF document, and then you can have that and see how you're doing, how that all lays out from a flow through. Another question somebody had asked is about an example plan, and I'm going to work on getting you one. However, if you look at your book, let's see here a second. I can switch you over just a second. So as I was saying, if you look in the book, in Appendix A is an example business plan from the Cedar Farms Cedar Summit Farm, which is used throughout as an example for this. Also, as I'm paging back to that, you'll notice all throughout here are different areas with different resources that are designed to help you find other information as you need it to go forward. Those are also, a lot of those are also listed in the in Ag Plan in the tips section. So anyway, starting on page 269, that's not it, there you go, 269, you'll have the business plan for Cedar Summit Farm in Appendix A. That's a good example. I'll work on trying to find some other examples so you can see what the finished product would look like, but that is a place to go and have a look at. Okay, well, that was a few of the things that I wanted you to have a look at. Again, go ahead and let's see, we can go back to Ag Plan for a second. And like I said, you can save it there and have a ability to work through it. Now, keep working on these sections. If you want to turn them off, let's get through this business planning stuff by the end, because going in a week from Tuesday when we start our 10th week, I'm going to start working on some of the financial things that we talked about a little earlier with Paul, and we're going to start working on doing enterprise budgeting and projections with that. We're going to work on cash flow, yearly cash flow, and get into our financial part of this, the financial plan down in here with our balance sheet, income statement, that kind of thing. So I would like to see us try to wrap up. Everything's not due until the very end of the semester, so if you can still keep working on it, but it'd be good, especially if you want to get good feedback from me and from the folks that are going to come in with us along the way, hopefully good feedback from me, that you are working on that and getting those things so you can integrate some of the thoughts from others coming up here. Okay, well, keep after it, and we will catch you soon.